Hi everyone, Sarah here from Sarah Homfray Embroidery, and it's finally here. The day's finally here because today we are giving away 3 skeins of 24 karat gold thread. So today feels like a bit of an end of a gold thread journey for me. I bought this thread about a year ago now, and I've been planning and thinking about it and actually stitching it. Worked really hard on it this week to get this project finished, so it feels really good to do that. Completing something's always really rewarding to do, so I'm really happy to do that and to have got that done. But before we do our draw today for those prizes, let's have a look at what I've stitched, because I hope you're excited to see it, because I'm quite excited to show you. Okay, so here it is, the finished piece. I'm quite pleased with it, quietly pleased with it actually, how it came out. Cross stitch is a little bit of a departure for me, and I'd never used this gold thread at all either, so there were a couple of unknowns going on in there, but I did really enjoy this process, and I'm taking this original design by Teresa de Dilmont and making it my own, so changing it a little bit and adding the things in that I quite like to have in it. So I'm just going to show you around and we'll have a little look at what I did. So we had a look at the actual cross stitch in this thread in the very first video we did, and I talk about how I started with it and what it was like to handle. Now I've used it quite a bit. I know a little bit more about it, and there's a couple of things that I think you need to know if you're going to use this. It is like a metallic thread in that it's a little bit tricky to handle, so you have to sort of learn how to use it. Unlike a metallic thread, when that gets a bit worn, the two fibres actually separate, because usually they're a plastic, some kind of a plastic coating that makes the metallic bit around a core thread, and they just tend to come apart and it disintegrates that way. With this thread, what it does is the gold that's wrapped around the thread, so it's 2-ply thread with gold wrapped around each ply, and that tends to disintegrate a little bit. It doesn't just separate, it actually rains gold on you. So if you go too far with it and you push it too far, it will say no, stop, I don't want to do it anymore, and you need to change the thread. So you just have to learn to use the thread and listen to the thread and to feel what the thread's doing. Cat's not interested in the thread. Sit down, buddy. Sit down, mate. He's just knocked something on the floor that I need in a minute, but that's all right. I'll pick it up. Just sit down. What was I saying? Yes, you have to listen to your thread and what it's telling you. So a bigger needle was the first thing that I did. Make a bigger hole in the fabric. The thread will pass through the bigger hole and it hopefully won't pull on that thread so much and make that thread disintegrate. So a bigger needle was definitely one thing to do. The other thing was I slowed down with my stitching. If you pull it fast, you haven't got time to react to it and haven't got time to listen to what it's doing and listen whether it's rubbing on the fabric or not. So slowing down just meant that I could do that, and I could hear if it was catching and hear if I needed to stop and just sort it out and untangle it. I needed untwisting a little bit as well. That did help to do that, so it didn't wear so much. So slowing down was another thing that helped, and nice short lengths, always nice short lengths for any metallic thread, because it does wear, especially where it goes through the needle, and once it goes there the rest kind of follows really. So nice short lengths, and those 3 things saw me to the end of the project. I would just say at this point, if you have a thread that you are finding hard to use, it's easy to get frustrated with it and you want to chuck it away. I'm never using that again. But if you just take the time to learn the thread, you can find a way around that. Work with your materials rather than against them. Try not to fight them. Work with them. We'll be friends, because they are very beautiful effect. This has come out really beautiful and shiny. It's a little bit hard to pick up on these lights, but in certain light this really does have a sparkle that the other metallic threads don't have, so it was definitely worth persevering with it and learning how to use it. Okay, so we did our cross stitch, so I followed my design, talked about that in the previous video. Then I added these beads on, so I've got some large beads, some seed beads, I put some pearls on as well. Thought I'd just add a little bit of luxury to it, and then I made the border, which is what I want to talk to you about in this video. I knew the size of my finished piece, because I know it had to go back into the box afterwards, so I already had the finished size, so I had to kind of work in from that. This, because I fiddled with the design and kept changing it and adding to it and taking bits off, got a bit bigger than I originally thought. It kind of went longer up and down when I started adding things hanging off it and putting little spangles and beads on it and stuff, but I still managed to fit it in. So I worked my border around, so all I did was I counted out from the furthest most point, so the highest point at the top and the lowest at the bottom and at the sides, and I just worked a row of cross stitch all the way around. I also at this point didn't know how much thread I'd got left and how far that was going to go, so I could plan a really beautiful, amazing pattern and then run out of thread, which with this thread is not that easy to go and get another one. It's easy to get one, but it's whether you want to spend the money on getting another one. Ginger Cat's gone for his lunch. So I just thought I'd start simple, so I started with a cross stitch all around the edge, and then I just worked out from that, did a little pattern in the middle of each edge, and then just started to add in broken up cross stitch. Really wanted to make this more of a border so it looked a bit more substantial, and then of course I couldn't finish it without putting my beads and my spangles and my pearls and my little seed beads in there as well, just to make that all tie together. There were infinite combinations of borders and stitches, and I was a bit on a time limit. I did stitch like a demon to get this finished for today. So I might have made some different decisions, but that's always interesting to know if you're on a time limit, what decisions do you make. So that is that. I'm really pleased with it. So it is going to fit in the box, so I'm going to show you how it fits in. So this is the box that the thread came in and that the embroidery is going back into. So if I just open that up like so. So it's going to fit in this gap here. So I've done the whole project with this in mind. That I've measured this right at the beginning, so I know that it's going to fit in here. That is going to fit in there like so. So I've mounted this professionally. We do have a video on that. You can check that out up in the corner here if you want to see how to professionally mount your embroideries. Makes it really nice and tight, finishes it well. Just show you the back as well. I put a backing on it really nice and tight just to protect the back and stop anything getting inside that might want to get inside. Just a really good way of finishing it beautifully. And I know that that will fit in there, but just before I put that in there, I just want to show you what's underneath. So this little ribbon here, if you pull that up, you can get the book out. It's quite important, otherwise it doesn't come out. And if I take the books out, so it's got a couple of little books in there, and it's just got a sort of shelf it sits on underneath. And just to get the embroidery in there, I've just lowered this down a bit. So I've just cut a little bit off the edge here, so it sinks down into that hole a little bit, and that allows for my embroidery to be flush with the top so the box doesn't damage it when I shut the box. So I've just lowered that. So I put my books back inside, make sure I'm leaving that bit out, so they will get stuck in there. So let's just fit our embroidery in there. Tab is out. Beautiful fit. I have been checking this all the way through the project just to make sure it fits, and just allowed a little bit extra for the fabric going around as well. So do make sure you measure carefully if you want to do anything like this. So embroidery is in the box. I put my extra thread that was left over in the box also. There was 1 metre of this left, so I used 7 metres to stitch this, and just about had enough, which is why I worked the way I did with the border, so I knew I wasn't going to run out. So that's back in the box as well. And then one more thing I wanted to do was just protect this as well. It's still a bit vulnerable with the beads sticking up on the top there, and this has got a plastic cover in it, so I put one on this as well. I've made one for this. So just a piece of acetate cut and bent to shape, and that will slot down these holes around here, and that will be a nice layer of protection for this, so that hopefully this will last for generations to come. So we did have some comments on the videos about could you use this for other kinds of embroidery, and we did discuss in the last one about the fact that this isn't a gold work thread, it's a thread made of gold, so it's an embroidery thread, so you can use it for any types of embroidery. But just to prove that that works okay, I thought I'll have a little go on some fabric, some cotton fabric here, and I made this little heart design here just to have a go at stitching it without the holes of the Ada fabric that the other project was on. So I just made this little heart design. I'm hoping you can just see that sparkle, because it really does have a beautiful finish to it, this gold thread. And I've done some different stitches here. So I've got a whipped back stitch. Let me point to this so you can see. So I've got a whipped back stitch around the outside. I've got a stem stitch here, some French knots. They were quite hard to do in that thread to keep it from shredding. And then I obviously added my beads and my pearls and the beads that I used in the first project just to make it sort of tie in. So it worked really nicely actually. It looks absolutely stunning. It looks really beautiful. So yes, it does work for other kinds of embroidery. So if you do like these designs, I am going to put the cross-stitch design, my version of the design, on my free stuff page on the website. I'll put a link in the description below this video, and you can go and download that from there and have a go at that yourself if you want to. If you want to see the original that I took it from the Teresa de Dilmont cross-stitch book, I'll also put a link to that below this video as well, and you can do her original design, or you can make up your own design, I don't mind which. And just as a little something extra for our wonderful patrons and channel members, for thank you for supporting us, I'm going to make this little heart design for you, and I'll put that up on your membership pages so you can have a go at that one. Okay, so that is enough from me. I know you're all dying to know whether you've won the thread or not, so let's get on with the giveaway. So we had over 700 comments from you, replies to this competition, so that was really great. Thank you so much for joining in. This was a really special giveaway that we were running this time to celebrate 100,000 YouTube subscribers, which are very special, momentous moment for us, I feel, and we wanted to do something really special. So thank you to everybody for joining in and for making a real effort with your comments as well. There were some really lovely ones to read, some fantastic stories, a couple of really good poems as well, and it's always a pleasure to read them, so thank you for doing that. We did unfortunately get a couple of spam messages again, so I'm really sorry if you got one of those and you thought you'd won. The winners are always picked in the video that always goes up on a Friday in the giveaway draw video. So if your name's not in the winners video on the date that I say that we're going to put it up, then I'm afraid you haven't won. So sorry if you got one of those, but do keep watching our channel. We've got more giveaways coming, so maybe you'll have better luck then. Okay, so let's pick the first prize. So we're going to go to our random winner generator and see who has won the presentation box set with the gold thread in it and a set of gold plated needles. So well done, the amazing Disc World. You get this wonderful presentation box. Well done on that. I'll tell you how to get your hands on it in a second, because we're just going to pull our other two runners up first. Well done to Alison Caputo and Kay Morelli. You are both our runners up. You have both got one of the boxes of the gold threads and a pack of gold plated needles as well, so they'll be on their way to you. All three of you, I will respond to your comment this time. It will be me telling you to email me. It's the email that's on our website. If you're not sure and you want to contact me that way, you can contact me through the website. Let me know where you are in the world and I will get your gold goodies on their way to you. So I did just mention how wonderful it was to have all your comments, and there's two comments that stood out particularly, and these two people do comment as well on our other videos quite a lot. So Katie B and Fiber Jazz, you wrote some really great poems. I will put them up on the community page, I think, so everyone can enjoy them. And you do that every time we do a giveaway, and we're really looking forward to your poems. So we're going to send you both something a little extra as well. This is a special giveaway. We're feeling in a really good mood and we're just giving stuff away. So just to thank you for participating and writing those great poems, we're going to send you something too. So do check your comments so that we can get in touch with you too. So that's it, everybody. Thank you so much for taking part. Sorry if you didn't win. We'd love to give you all something because we really appreciate your support and helping to get us to this 100,000 subscriber milestone. I really enjoyed doing this gold set of videos for you. I hope you've enjoyed watching them too. Do give them a thumbs up if you like them. More people get to see them that way. And we've got loads more videos. We've got over 300 now. So do go to the channel and check those out. And we've got one here that I think you will particularly like. So we will see you next time.